Was the Grail Knight drinking from the fountain of youth? Hello and welcome to the Nerdy Things with Brendan channel. Today we're talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. In the movie, we met the Grail Knight, who was a knight who found the Holy Grail sometime around the First Crusade. The Grail Knight was one of three brothers, and because he was considered the bravest and wisest of the three, he decided to stay behind and guard the cup for hundreds of years until Indy eventually found it. This raises a lot of questions about how he lived so long. Was he drinking from the Grail to stay alive? Was there a spell or some kind of magic around the Grail? The theory is that he was in fact drinking from the Grail to sustain his life and guard the Grail. Continuously drinking from the Grail would grant eternal life, but the Grail could not leave the Temple of the Sun. Keeping the Grail out of the hands of the wrong people was a vital duty that someone had to undertake. But doing so would require either one person to guard it eternally or someone new to eventually come along and replace the former person. The Grail Knight and his brothers knew this task needed to be undertaken by someone. To even find the Grail, someone would have to pass all the tests and prove themselves worthy of drinking from the Grail. This means that the knight himself found the Grail and was worthy of drinking it. There's evidence to confirm this theory as well. In the junior novel version of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the book reveals that the knight was once a young man. But in guarding the Grail over the years, any time his spirit wavered, he aged a year, as he was now unworthy to drink from the Grail. The Grail Knight had to constantly affirm his beliefs and find the strength to be worthy of the Grail. I also want to point out the Leap of Faith painting in Henry Jones Sr.'s home. The painting shows someone who looks an awful lot like the Grail Knight crossing over an invisible bridge. The knight also appears fairly young. We know this invisible bridge is one of the actual challenges one must face to find the Grail. But I'm curious how the painting came to be. The Grail Knight tells us he had two brothers with him, but he's the only one who stayed. Eventually the brothers wanted someone worthy to find the Grail, so the details of how to find the Grail had to be spread to others. The two brothers may have also been worthy of the Grail, but they may have decided to leave and spread word of how to find it instead. These two brothers likely told their children, who passed it on, and someone who heard the stories eventually made this painting of a young knight who passed the tests and found the Grail. My overall point is, it likely is the Grail Knight in the painting, as he would have had to pass the test himself to get to the Grail. This means he is worthy of drinking from the Grail, and this painting was inspired by a story one of the other two brothers told someone. This painting is also the second piece of evidence confirming the knight is worthy and can drink from the Grail. So there you have it, the knight was drinking from the Grail and aged every time his spirit faltered and he was no longer worthy. He then had to reconfirm his faith and become worthy again to undergo his task of protecting the Grail. If you enjoyed this video, check out my Indiana Jones playlist for more videos like this one. Please like and subscribe. Recommend a video you want to see in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.